107.1 FM. It's time for Media Lab. My name is Ruth Usman, and I have two people with me, my colleagues in the studio. Good morning to Shegun.
Good morning, Ruth.
Okay, you prefer Oluwa Shegun. Okay.
Good morning.
All right, nice to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Good enough. Mr. Inyene's name is just Inyene. There's no Olua Inyene. We used to do some Olua Abdul kind of mixture, and I think it can help. So, can I go Olua Inyene? All right. So, welcome to Media Lab this morning.
Thank you, Ruth.
So, as always, we'll take a look at some of the stories making the rounds. We have this one here. The first one, it says Senator representing Lagos Central Senatorial District, Oluremi Tinubu, has urged the federal government to declare public holidays for collection of permanent voter cards, PVCs, of the December 2018 deadline. Tinubu said the PVCs are the tools for the participating in the forthcoming 2019 elections. Has it come to declaring public holidays? Is it just for this period or every of this period yearly?
Ruth,
Yes.
if you understand the problem of uncollected PVCs,
Okay.
you understand why she's saying what she's saying. And the truth of the matter is, whether it's monthly, whether it's every 3 months, the most important thing is what she said speaks to the fact that many people have not collected their PVCs. And, it's ironic because you hear people saying, this government is not good. They don't want this government. They don't want that government. This governor, we want him changed. This local government chairman. People say a lot of things. But the truth of the matter is, are they willing to just go, a step further and get their PVCs? There are like 7.9 million PVCs lying all over INEC offices,
But some of these people may be dead.
Yes, I know. But 7.9 people can't be dead.
Okay.
That's just the truth. So many people have, but to go there and just collect, is a very difficult thing. Just to, muster up the courage or the will or the energy to just find out where's my PVC. I want it collected. There's a December 2018 deadline. So how do you change any particular government or administration that you don't want when you don't have PVCs? I was arguing with some people a couple of hours ago, about 2 hours ago. They were saying a certain governor in the East, that they don't want him, this and that, he should go, they just want him out of the place, that he wants so person to become governor. Is it right? Now, I asked the guy, I said, do you have a PVC? The guy said, why am I asking him that? Obviously, he didn't have. And he wants the governor
So he felt
out
guilty.
of power. So if you look at the rundown of the analysis of uncollected PVCs, 8 states, according to INEC, is having like 50% of that figure I told you just now, 7.9. And Lagos State seems to be having one of the highest numbers. Lagos have, say, 663,000. So if
Uncollected.
So if a senator from that state is saying, declare public, she knows what she's saying. Because without the PVC, you can't do anything. So I think she's right. Whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, let them just do something.
I wanted to say, in the defense of many Nigerians, that perhaps the collection process is tedious. Maybe that's why they're not going for it. But then the argument you said you had with someone, and then, with the question you posed at him and the way he reacted, as if to say, well, who asked you to ask me this question? I don't have. I'm thinking, too, maybe many Nigerians are thinking that, well, all they need to do is pray for these bad leaders to be flushed out. Because when you hear people calling on programs, say, let's pray, 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 pray. Everything is prayer, so much so that there's no time to go and, actually work to get the people you want to see out by getting your PVCs and stuff like that. Let's listen to Inyene, I guess. No, he's trying to turn on the
Sorry about that little distraction, Ruth. I think it sounds very interesting that we are appealing for public holidays to be declared, all for the sake of allowing Nigerians or enabling Nigerians go collect their PVCs, which they actually registered for. As far as I'm concerned now, those are supposed to be their personal property. Am I right? So first and foremost, you went out there to register for this particular document, and I think it behoves on you to go back and pick it up. But again, in between all of this registration and collection of the document, that the PVC, what's the stress that Nigerians had to go through? In fact, initially, I keep saying this, that we need much more sensitization. There's need to create this awareness. A lot of Nigerians never went there to have their biodata captured for sake of voting during an election. And so they do not appreciate the enormity of that document, the value of that document.
So why did they go?
Most of them went there for other mundane reasons. For instance, my child is not going to be given admission when I go, when he comes of age in certain public institution. For instance, I go requesting for a certain public social service. I'm not going to be allowed to partake in such social service. Not necessarily for voting. And then when they look at all of the kind of hassle they had to pass through to go get themselves registered, so what they need? They now believe that since I'm captured, after all, I'm in the system, it's not about voting. What do I need to go collect the PVC for? But again, if that sensitization is carried out, massively, let Nigerians appreciate the fact that armchair criticism, sitting down wailing and, lamenting from morning till night is not going to make things happen differently from any way it's going on now, rather than you going to the polling booth to actually exercise your franchise. And for you to be able to do that, you must have acquired your PVC. And then we should start sensitize. The private sector should join hands, in this sensitization process. If anybody is coming to seek for any service, whether with his money or not, you tell him or her, sir, ma, your PVC, please. Your PVC, please. People would begin to appreciate the value attached to that. Besides that, I think there's need to reduce the stress Nigerians pass through whenever we're seeking to, register anything that has to do with national. I don't know. I see it sometimes as if it's a deliberate, policy of government to put the masses through some suffering. National ID card, it's always stressful. You want to go and vote by your own right, you're entitled to it. Just to pick up your card, you go to the registration center, days on end. The officials will be acting funny. You hear lack of logistics, lack of equipment. By the time one manages to register, you just beat by.
But
So
now
I
we're
think
going to get
talking
a
about
public holiday
public
for it.
holidays, I don't know. It shouldn't come to that.
I wanted to even say, even if it would get to that, me and you, are we even going to participate in that
There
public
you are.
holiday?
This is another sector. When the rest of our brothers and sisters will be going to pick theirs, you find out in our sector here,
Well, perhaps they'll
Shegun,
pick,
that's another huge challenge,
yeah, they'll pick our own and bring it to us.
Or
I mean,
perhaps we need a special holiday maybe for the media practitioners.
weekends.
Yeah, I've
But we
had,
work
I've had
weekends.
a rethink, and I think if, for instance, it's taking like 2 weeks at a stretch for people to collect their PVCs, you don't work every day. You must have off days for sure. You know.
Off day.
Yes, and majority of the people who work the regular jobs can have weekends, say Saturdays,
The weekends
Sundays
is,
to pick.
in all sincerity, is hardly enough. This morning, anyway, he came in, was like, how was your weekends? Like, he wish it was more. So even if you were to have, even though he does not have 2 days, but even for those who have 2 days, it's still not enough. So I think we should really go for that holiday. What do you think? And clamor for
I agree.
I beg to disagree, Shegun. If we have to declare public holidays for everything in this country, then productivity we're hampering about would continue dwindling.
okay.
Public holidays, everybody will now sit back at home when they're supposed
We're
to go
supposed to go out and get the PVCs.
and get the PVCs. They are already there. But why won't we go and collect them?
busy, 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 work, work, work. That's why.
Survival, you say.
Okay, so let's go to the next story here. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, said it has put the cost of replacing vandalized, stolen, or damaged facilities in the 4 major roads of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT alone, at over 5 billion naira. FCT Minister Malam Mohammed Bello, while lamenting the huge burden posed by the vandalism of public assets and critical infrastructure, noted that the money, which could have been spent on executing new infrastructure or providing utilities in new districts, is being spent on the replacement of vandalized assets. Wow. This I really find very, interesting, because most times people will be complaining, oh, especially let's just start with the street lights. You hear people saying, oh, personally, there are certain roads that I know I have never seen street lights work in those places, like ever. And I'm not just talking about 1-2 years here in the FCT. And so sometimes, we are quick to just say, well, government hasn't done this, is not doing this, and has not done that. But then again, come to think of it, there are people who are engaging in vandalism.
Yeah, the question is, for what purposes? Who
Why
are those,
do they do
who,
it in
Yeah,
the
who
first
are those people? To what extent are these damages? And I think right now Nigerians have gone past where people just make an omnibus statement. We need X amount to fix ABC, or we need this amount to fix that and this. We need to know, because you will discover that quite a lot of people, or a lot of government officials, will give you an omnibus amount. Say, for instance, we're going to use, say, 200 million to cut grass in the Northeast, for instance. For instance, how many people are vetting those things? Do you understand? The National Assembly is there. Yes, I know. But basically, budgets nowadays is cut and paste. Nobody is monitoring.
In a nutshell, you are just seeing a situation of...
we need to vet what he's saying.
Okay.
We need to know what are those things that are
But don't we have proof? Things, physical evidence of this vandalism.
I
of
know.
Public, yeah.
Yeah, but we need to know what exactly he's talking about. If I see one streetlight damaged, and somebody comes to tell me it's 100 million, I should ask questions. So I think it's even beyond us, because I think this thing that he's saying, he has to put them before the National Assembly. And there are competent people and committees there that will take a look at it. But I think we have to start asking questions. If it's true that these things are damaged, what have been damaged, and what are the pricing regimes, so to speak, That's what I believe.
So they are either vandalized, stolen, or damaged facilities.
Or not supplied in some cases.
Well, he said 4 major roads. As much as I would want, yes, for us to focus on government, what it's doing and what it may not be doing, the truth is there are actually those people. I don't want for us to excuse them quickly by just saying, well, government is not being clear on what exactly is damaged, or who really, or how much it would cost to fix it or to replace it. I know of a particular street, really newly done somewhere in Kaduna State, that before you know it, beautiful street lights and all that, but many of them were all not working, and you look at them, they weren't spoiled, they were removed. Someone did remove them.
And then again, there's the issue of substandard equipment, substandard supplies. You want grade A, somebody gives you grade C or D, and nobody is complaining. And sometimes, so I heard, is an allegation which I'm yet to substantiate, that they say supply this amount of stuff, this number, this X number, and they are supplied and removed to be resupplied. So that's why I said you don't make an omnibus statement like that. You have to verify. We have to verify.
Wow, the supplier supplies and he takes it back.
Yes.
Inyene, what do you have to say about that?
Well, Segun has just hit the nail on the head. Matter of fact, 5 billion naira. If we continue pushing in that direction, it means that when the appropriation for the FCTA, comes out maybe for 2019, I wouldn't know if that that of 2018, this is factored into it. But imagine 5 billion already being a portion of money set aside.
Like you said, just to replace and fix and do other things,
yes.
Not to create new ones.
Not to create new ones. You begin to ask the question, don't we have agencies that are supposed to monitor those facilities? How come one of them got missing and then the authorities didn't do anything to see how they could nab those persons responsible for removing them?
Sometimes it happens overnight.
Overnight, yes, it does. Why don't you keep a task force? You have task force hounding traders, petty traders all around the city, and you can raise task force to monitor those public facilities 24/7. I thought we have sometimes a misplaced priority. We're talking of Nigerians surviving, and you're intending to remove this chunk sum of money to go and service these vandalized facilities, rather than preventing, such vandals from carrying out their nefarious acts. And if you think you want to monitor it, the mechanism is there. It's just that they don't want to look in that direction. So I'm not comfortable with hearing that some 5 billion naira, because it means at the end of the day, 5 billion naira, those facilities would not be fixed correctly, because the money will end up in some individual's pockets. Take it or leave it. That's the truth. So the minister for saying that, these government officials, they have a way of flying the kite. He's already, trying to find out how Nigerians are going to react to this. So at the fullness of time, when we say, 5 billion naira, 20 billion naira is set aside, to fix or to take care of vandalized public facilities, Nigerians say, we saw many of them, they're vandalized. And Shegun just said something about supplying substandard, and then even when you supply and you retrieve them, the money is already ended up in some person's pocket.
And then you retrieve them. And so they all come under vandalized or stolen. And yes, of course, since you didn't catch the thief, you won't know who the thief is.
They should even search amongst themselves, because some of those facilities is not ordinary Nigerian like you and I that has the technical know-how to go and fiddle with them.
Yes,
so in most cases, it has to do with insider collaboration. Those working in those agencies that are supposed to be monitoring or overseeing those facilities, they are the ones who still turn around. And so it's like robbing Nigerians two ways.
This statement just makes me want to change my country right now. I mean, if we have people, in the same country who are supposed to be patriotic and all of that, doing these petty things that result into huge, well, I like the words to actually describe that. But we'll come back and take more of the headlines, but we need to go on a break at this point. Do stay with us on Media Lab this morning.
Making the world a better place every day. Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
Ana shawartar mazauna birnin tarayya da su kasance masu mayar da hankali kan abubuwa da suka shafi tsaron kawunansu, a kuma kiyaye fita cikin dare barkatai, bugu da ƙari, mu kuma kasance masu saka idanuwa kan rayuwar 'ya'yanmu, musamman kan abubuwa da suka shafi shaye-shaye. Mu kiyaye daukan mutane barkatai akan hanya, don hakan kan sawa ki rasa ko ka rasa motarka. Mu kiyaye aje abubuwa masu amfani a cikin motocinmu yayin da muka faka motocin. Sa'annan mu daga gilasan motocinmu, sannan mu kulle kofofinsu da kyau don gudun fadawa cikin hannun bata gari. Mu dinga kulle kofofin gidajenmu da wundunansu da kyau. Sa'annan mu kasance masu kulle makarin gidanmu kafin mu fita don kauracewa azzalumai 'yan sani. Wannan saƙo ne daga sashin tattara bayanai da sanarwa ta birnin tarayya FCTA.
àwọn olùgbé FCT nímọ̀ràn láti máa fura dáadáa kí wọ́n lè máa gbé láì léwu. Ẹ má jáde alẹ́, ẹ má lóògùn nílòkulò, ẹ máa fojú sáwọn ọmọ yín lóòrèkóòrè. Ní gbogbo ìgbà ẹ rí i pé kọ́kọ́rọ́ ìdáàbòbò ọkọ̀ yín wà ní títì gbẹngbẹng. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá sì fẹ́ jáde alẹ́, ẹ rí i pé ẹ ti fèrèsé ọkọ̀ yín dáadáa. Ẹ má gbàgbé àwọn nǹkan tó níye lórí sínú ọkọ̀ yín, àgàgà láwùjọ ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ èèyàn kó má bàa fa ọgbọ̀n jálẹ̀kùn. Ẹ rí i dájú pé àwọn ilẹ̀kùn àti fèrèsé ilé yín wà ní títì pa nígbà gbogbo kọ́dàrán ọmọ bá láǹfààní àti wọlé o. FCTA Information Department ló mú ìkéde yìí wá sétí gbọ́ yín. Dem don advise FCT people people, make it and dey vigilant for safety matter. Oh, no, they go out for night. No abuse drug. Monitor your pikin then well. Make sure say your motor security dey kampe. If you want come out for night, for jolly, make sure say you no live better thing wey get value for inside your motor, especially anywhere plenty people dey. Make you no attract bad people there. Make una close your house doors plus include window every time. Make criminal for no enter. This message now from FCTA Information Department.
Amagbage ajé ìfilẹ̀ Abuja kìsìdẹ́yìn àgẹ̀ ìṣàwọ́lágẹ̀. Arogwe azin ya kanyin na benu kwen bata tanjileyu yita jizalaba nso kwen yita san ayasase yiche imiashi benu kwen yije yikaya biwe nsahasahai yadailo haje hako gudeidei nsahasahai babianu nso kwen haidala na zaboye kafaya mana idna yadayo yekoshi kwa gyanzanu kwen beche yije yakwaba guvye na bi Sansahei na vitabwa baba lefin yebede kwai kokun Abuja kizidna awidna bokunu.
The whole of Africa, come along with me, let me unveil the face of Nigeria.
Ndị ọma na-ege ntị, ana m asị udo dịrị unu. A na-eme ka onye ọbụla mara na ọ na-adị mma ike nkwụcha. Wee na-asị onye ọbụla gbaa mbọ tinyere ụmụaka ya anya, mara ka nwa gị si eje, mara ka nwa gị si anata. Onye tinyekwana aka n'ịnwụ ọgwụ na-ekwesị ekwesị ma ise nke osise, maka na ọ na-emebi ndụ mmadụ. A na-eme ka ị mara na ịpụ n'abalị na-ekwesị ekwesị adịrọ mma. Ị ga-apụgodo n'abalị, a na-eme ka ị mara na ọ dị mma ịkpọchisi ụgbọala gị ike. Ekwekwana ka ihe bara uru dị n'ụgbọala gị maọbụ n'efifie maọbụ n'abalị, maka na ife ọbụla bara uru dị n'ụgbọala ọ na-ebute anya ndị omekome. A na-eme ka ị mara na ọ bụrụ na ị nọrọ na be gị ma ọ na ị na-apụ apụ fie isaa n'anya, ka ị mara na ụzọ be gị na mpio be gị na ịkpọchisiri ha nke ọma maka ndị omekome. Wee na-asị atụọrọ ọmara ihe mana atụọrọ ofeke ofenye isi n'ọhịa. Ozi a site n'aka ngalaba ịgbasa ozi ọma FCTA wee na-erute unu ntị.
Residents of the FCT are advised to be more security conscious so as to keep safe, avoid late night outings, and always ensure you have your car security locks on and wind up windows if you have to go out at night. Be careful who you give lifts to avoid car snatching. Never leave valuables in your car, especially in public places, as this will attract burglars. The general public is also advised to abstain from drug abuse, as this can lead to more crimes in the society. Always keep an eye on your children. Ensure that your house doors and gates are locked at all times to prevent intruders from gaining access to your home. Know your neighbor. If you see something, say something. Stay safe, stay alive. This message is from the Information Department, FCTA.
Welcome, my dear friends.
Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough.
You know.
Give me 101.1 effort.
Well, thank you for sticking around. Stay with us right here on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. Media Lab still on. I am Ruth, and I have been speaking with Oluwasegun and Inyene, who are both my colleagues on Media Lab this morning, as we have taken a look at a couple of stories that are trending. We go to the next one here. It says the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, has appealed to the federal government to honor its agreement with the joint health sector unions, JOHESU, and end the ongoing strike in the health sector. In the communique issued at the end of its 58th annual General/Scientific and Delegates Conference, the association said it criticized the strike and appealed to the government to end it soon. So a thought came through my mind when I read this, but I will not express it just yet. Let me hear. Segun, what do you think of this coming from the NMA?
I think the NMA, is right to have appealed to the government, to the federal government, to honor its agreement. I know there are various agreements in the past, there was agreement in the past administration and the one before it and now this current one, you know. So I think the problem now is all these agreements, you know, as a new government comes in, you begin to wonder whether you have the means to honor an agreement that was, you know, entered into by the previous administration. Though they say government is a continuum, which is what, you know, I think governments should do. New administrations should honor past agreements if it's reasonable. Now the question is, how reasonable are the demands? And it's a joint health sector union, so to speak. And you begin to wonder, how many of them, because it's joint, you know, there are quite a number of different people. There are pharmacists, there are the lab technicians, there are the doctors, there are, you know, quite a lot of people in there. You begin to wonder which one are you going to honor after, because if you honor A, B will come up with another demand. They are honoring these people. Let's start our own now so that they can honor us.
But is that wrong in itself when you have a lot of
these
children?
These are all genuine demands.
When you give birth to 10
genuine
children.
agreements, that's if genuine.
If it has been honored, it has been entered into by the government, maybe a minister or someone that is acting for the government, I believe if it's reasonable, it should be honored. Because the truth of the matter is, right now, even the enemy itself is tired of all the strikes. Every time we hear of this enemy going on strike, and when you talk about strike for a day by the medical workers, we're talking in terms of how many lives were lost. You know, people on emergency that lost their lives because there was nobody to take care of them and all that. I think the enemy itself is patriotically, you know, I think it's just a sense of patriotism to say, federal government, honor these agreements.
Don't
so
they
that
go on
people
strike themselves?
Who?
The enemy. Do they go on strike?
The enemy goes on strike. It's a joint health union.
Maybe
We're
they're
talking about.
maybe waiting in the flanks.
You understand? They do go on strike. But I think to a large extent, this current regime is trying, because I've seen one or two documents. I was privy to one or two meetings, and I know that at a point, the House of Representatives even waded in to ensure that these agreements are honored by the government. But by and large, at the end of the day, we're talking about, are there means to resolve this issue? Because it boils down to finance, you know, at the end of the day. So the government is, I know at this moment, trying. I've seen the budget for health for this year. And I know there are a lot of things that the minister has in line for the health workers. But, like NMA said, if there was an agreement, reasonable agreement, I think the government should go ahead and honor it and save us the loss of lives that you know comes by when there are strikes by the health workers. Yeah.
I'll start by asking, why should any government or any group go into an agreement that is unreasonable? So I thought, I think Segun actually situated this matter, being that government is a continuum. So for me, my take is this: irrespective of the government or the party or the government in office today, whatever agreement had been entered into by a previous administration with any professional body should be respected.
If
Today,
it doesn't exactly support your own policy, perhaps. Maybe that's from the angle he's seeing it.
when we say support policy, first and foremost, every professional body is talking about the welfare of its members, right? And then on a second thought sometimes, they now consider recipients of their services or those who actually consume maybe their product or services. But if you take all of these in a whole dish, you find out that at the end of the day, it is the users of those services that will suffer most. So for any government, irrespective of whatever coloration or affiliation, I think the first thing should be to honor whatever agreement that was entered into with any professional body, especially when it has to do with a critical sector such as the health. So for that's one. Now for enemy to turn around and after its initial,
reaction,
hard stance.
What was that? I think we need to bring, because when I read this the first time, I felt it was hypocritical because they never sounded like this. Then suddenly they're like, federal government, maybe we should listen to these people. Who
Maybe they've had a change of heart.
Okay. What was their initial reaction?
No, actually their contention has to do with the demand that by Johesu, the other health sector workers, that their salaries should be brought at par, should be on the same level with those of medical doctors. And we've talked about it severally. It just can't happen. But then there's nothing wrong for them demanding that their salaries should be reviewed upward, at least. There should be some improvement.
So maybe NMA has also come to understand that
yes.
they're not actually asking to be paid as much as we are, perhaps.
I don't know. It was the minister who came out to say that, look, Johesu, your demand as far as, salary coming to par with that of NMA, we cannot accede to that demand. So I can't tell whether they actually requested for that or they only requested maybe for an upward review. But I think reality, truth be said, I don't expect them to ask for their salary to be brought at the same par with that of the medical doctors. So for the doctors, maybe they didn't understand that initially. So today for them to
maybe now
they will put it that their level of patriotism just upped.
Yeah, and I mentioned that if the demands are reasonable, reasonability is what's going to make the FG consider it, for instance. So if NMA is saying, FG, please listen to these people. Apparently, maybe they've gone through the request themselves, and like you said, they have seen that it is reasonable. And if the minister goes through it, he's to advise the FG and say, this thing that they're asking for, they are all reasonable. Even as much as it's not, like you said, trying to put their salaries at par with, we know that's not going to happen.
And that's why I also want to believe that they may not have asked for that. Perhaps just saying, increase it for us.
We've been saying it. Sometimes the stories you hear from the striking unions is different from what the federal government will be pushing, because each of the interested parties will be pushing out, information that would, get the sympathy of the people towards them. But we just hope they do something fast and end this strike as quickly as possible.
Hopefully. All right, let's open up the phone lines at this point. You can call in and react to any of the stories that we have been talking about on Media Lab this morning. The number to call is 080-3322-1149. That is 080-3322-1149. That is the number to call if you want to share your thoughts with us on Media Lab this morning. So while you're doing that, we'll take on another story. Okay, a call has just come through. Let's see who it is. Hello?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
How do you work?
Fine, thank you.
How today?
Very well.
How the program today?
Fine, thank you. What's your name?
Sorry, I want to get Ame Isa.
Okay, you cannot get him now because I'm here now.
I don't want to get him now.
Yes, sir. You can just listen in perhaps 4 p.m. in the evening. You can try. Only Wednesdays?
Okay.
Okay, that'll be Wednesday. Or tomorrow, 7:30 in the morning.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you for calling. Okay. 08033221149 is the number to call. Please ensure that you're actually following the conversation so that you don't start asking for something that I can help you with right now. Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Kingsley. I'm calling from Italy.
All right, Kingsley. Welcome.
Yeah, I just know what is trending on the right now. My opinion is that just as your guests have said, the money that has been projected for the replacement of vandalized public utility, I think that money is too bogus. You understand? How can you project such money when you have the possibility of protecting and monitoring our public utilities? So this is outright act of dishonest, I will put it that way, because that money is going to end up in the private individual's account. You know, so this is what we'll be talking about. I'm saying that the government should be accountable to their citizens. You know, it's unheard of that the $5 billion will be set aside to replace public utility that has been developed. It doesn't happen anywhere. Thank you very much. That's my take.
Thank you, Kingsley. All right. 08033221149. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Media Lab. What's your name?
I'm Martin calling from Kadu.
Okay.
Estate.
All right, Matthew, we're listening.
Yeah. My own take is about the voters registered citizens.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Now, I was thinking that the reason why some people did not pick up their card is that some students, they register in school. Well, let's just make an example like some students in Nasarawa here, they register over there, and they've gone back to their state, probably Lagos, Port Harcourt, or somewhere else. And there is no way they can come back and collect the card. And even though if they come back to collect the card, they can't use the card wherever they are staying. I don't know whether you with me. Because of when you are going to vote, you are going to stay wherever you are and vote. Meanwhile, these people school premises, some people, they travel all over the country, not staying in the actual place that they register. So I think that's a part of the problem.
Okay.
But if I believe that if you can register here and you can use your card to vote anywhere in the country, everybody will love to get it.
Okay.
So that's my take.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling. 08033221149. It's Media Lab on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. You can call in and let's hear your reaction to any of the stories. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, you're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Ahmed.
Your name is who? Okay, now that's worse.
Alex.
Okay, if you can hear me, just go ahead.
Okay. Please, I want to know of TV is coming out.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Please, when are they closing CVC registration, please?
When are they doing what PVC?
Registration. I mean the deadline.
The deadline.
Yes.
Is ongoing. Okay, so but he wants to know the last day. You know, some people that would like to wait until the
No, it's not that you want to do the last day. Someone told me that it's really not tomorrow, of which I will not have chance.
Okay, someone told him it was ending tomorrow, or okay. I think you may still have some time, so just okay.
The earlier you go do that, the better.
Sorry?
There's still some time. It's ongoing. However, the earlier you go do that, I think it will serve you better.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get your, well, let's see, maybe I'll just get one more call before we get your concluding thoughts on the issues we've looked at so far. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, what's your name?
Good morning. My name is Nathaniel Suleiman.
Nathaniel, you're welcome.
Hello, I say my name is Nathaniel.
Okay, I heard you. You're welcome.
All right, I'm calling you from Wonderland Estate.
Okay, please go ahead.
My own is that I want to appeal with the federal government so that they should just be concerned about this thing that they make medical association. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you want the federal government to reconcile with the striking health workers,
Yes,
yeah?
yes. I'm appealing that they should fulfill their promise so that those people can call up their strike so that, many people are losing their life because of all these strikes that medical have went now.
Okay.
So please, I'm just appealing that the federal government should consider all the promises they made and they should just please let these people call up the strike. Please, I'm appealing and we are all appealing, please.
All right, Nathaniel, I'm sure
That's
they
my
have
only-
heard you.
Ma?
I said I'm sure they have heard you right now. They heard you.
Yes.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
Okay. All right, gentlemen of the press, let's get your final thoughts.
Concerning the public holiday for collection of PVC,
You don't want to go.
I think one of the callers mentioned it was trying to adduce reasons
Why some people,
why, and I think it's really very correct.
if they were students.
Yeah.
or
People
are
have
students.
moved from places after collecting, after registering. And if someone is in Lagos and his school's in Kano, you might think twice before coming down to come and collect your PVC. So if, like he said, if there's a possibility that you can use your card, just like an ATM now where you can withdraw anywhere in the country, you can use your card to vote anywhere you are. If that's possible, then it would have solved to a large extent this issue of PVC collections. But be that as it may, I think if you took time off to go and stand there and do all the biometrics because you want to vote, I think you should just take one more step to collect it. I know that during the elections, the last elections, people here were going to their villages. If you ask, where is this person? They say he has gone up north. Where is that person? He has gone up north. To do what? To register. And the same thing they would probably do now to collect their PVCs. I mean, imagine, it's only in the southern states that we have the highest number of uncollected PVCs. An average person, even somebody that sells water or somebody that does shoe shining, would leave what he's doing and take 3 days off to go and register. Take another 3 days off to go and collect. Look at this. Ogun State has 426,000, even 0.8, 426.8 thousand uncollected PVCs. Edo has 449,000. That means we're not bothered. People are not bothered. If you are really bothered enough and you want to change the system, you should take the step and collect your PVC. It's very important.
Okay.
Now, health is wealth, they say. So I'll start with the Johesu strike. NMA has come out now to show some kind of solidarity, do you understand? And they're adding voice to the appeal. Nigerians are really crying out loud. Federal government, please do something. The Minister of Health came out the other time to say out of 15 demands, they've actually taken care of 14. I keep wondering which of them, what's that one demand that is tying down the holding the striking workers from resuming work. So if there's sincerity of purpose on the part of government, as I do believe, both sides need to trade it and make some compromise so that at the end of the day we call off this strike, because the kind of destruction, the kind of damage this is causing the nation, lives are going down on a daily basis. I said it the other day, if they don't do something about it, we start considering whether to label them something they may not like. So
okay,
then
on
the need to collect our PVCs, I think it's very important. But then INEC has to really embark on that massive sensitization to get Nigerians to appreciate that fact. But again, looking at it, when we make this comparison, we find out that those who had to travel up north to go and do their registration still had the time to go back there and pick up their cards. Maybe it has to do with the nature of employment they're engaged in. majority of those who are engaged in paid employment, it's not easy for you to travel. Maybe you have the time to do
Even
that.
when you tell your employer, like,
yes,
come on.
to do that, that has to be at weekends. And INEC offices, being public the offices, they don't function at weekends. So I think it's important. That's why I said we must involve, or INEC, the federal government, all authorities must involve the private sector as well. Because by the time the private sector is able to cooperate, allow its employees to go out and pick up their cards wherever they would have registered.
Public holidays in order.
I think
yes, he agrees. And we're going to go. And that's the much we're taking on Media Lab. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. I've been speaking with Oluwasegun and Inyene, who are my colleagues. Thanks for being here on Media Lab. We'll do this again tomorrow, same time. That is in the 11 o'clock hour, right here on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. My name is Ruth Usman. Do stay tuned. The news will be coming up at 12.
Making the world